a client that times out retries. And that retry is new load on the same workers that are still finishing the first write. A rate limiter sits in front of an API and decides how many requests may leave and how fast they may leave. The limiter we build here is a token bucket. Servers are not infinite. They have a finite number of workers, sockets, and database connections. Downstream means the workers and the database behind the gate. Clients retry when they time out, and 12 clients timing out become a stampede. Without a limiter, a login or a password reset falls over under load it created. Rate limiting is how the downstream stays up. A login endpoint is fine until a client times out and retries. Then 12 clients do the same, and the retries pile onto the original load. We have seen this on password resets, webhooks, and scrapers. Downstream is still the workers and the database behind this gate. We need a gate that lets a burst through, then holds the rest to a ceiling the downstream can actually serve. A token bucket is a counter of tokens. Each request spends 1 token to leave, and time adds tokens back at a fixed rate. If the counter is at 0, the request waits, or we refuse it. The bucket keeps 5 pieces of state. Capacity is the most tokens it can hold, and that is the burst. Rate is how many tokens we add each second, and that is the ceiling. Tokens is how many are in the bucket right now. Last refill is when we last added. A lock makes sure 2 threads cannot spend the same token. Capacity is the burst. 5 tokens means 5 requests can leave at once, even if nothing has been added yet. After that, the bucket is empty. Set capacity to what the downstream can absorb. 5 is 1 more than 4 workers, and that extra token is a seam we meet on /reset. Too small, and we clip honest traffic. Too large, and the stampede still wins. Rate is the refill. 2 tokens a second is the sustained ceiling. 2 tokens a second is 1 token every half second, and that pace is the ceiling the downstream can serve. After the burst, a new request can leave every half second. We measure elapsed time, add rate times elapsed, and clamp to capacity so unused tokens do not grow forever. That clamp is what stops a quiet hour from becoming an unbounded burst later. The constructor stores those 5 pieces. Tokens start at capacity, so the first burst is free. We read time, monotonic, not the wall clock, because NTP must not invent tokens. A wall clock that jumps forward would add tokens that time did not earn, and a jump backward would steal them. The lock wraps refill and spend as one section. Allow is the path that never blocks. It refills, then spends or refuses. If there are enough tokens, we subtract the cost and return true. If not, we leave the bucket alone and return false. Allow returns at once so the caller can refuse with 429 instead of waiting. The lock wraps the whole check, so 2 threads cannot spend the same token. Wait is for the caller that can block. If the bucket is empty, we compute how long until the next token lands. Sleep that long, then refill and spend. Wait holds the caller until a token lands, so the request can still enter when the refill arrives. The sleep sits outside the lock, so other threads are not stuck. We return the seconds we waited. 12 requests go through a bucket with capacity 5 and 2 tokens a second. 12 is the same client count as the password reset box. The first 5 leave immediately, because the bucket started full. The next 7 wait about 500 milliseconds each. That gap is the rate. After the burst, remaining tokens stay near 0. Capacity is the burst. Rate is the ceiling. The lock is the critical section. Put that in front of a login, or any endpoint that dies when clients retry together. Thank you.